Okay, call the meeting to order. Mike, could you please call roll?
Mike.
I'm on cruise control tonight.
Public notice of
You're
this
being
meeting.
warned.
Pursuant to the open public meeting that has been given by the superintendent of schools in the following manner on January 8th, 2025. Notice of this meeting was posted on the interior of the school administration offices, 95 Grove Street, Haddonfield. Written notice was submitted and filed with the Haddonfield Borough Clerk. The notices were emailed to the Courier Post and the Retrospect newspapers.
All right, now you need to call roll, right? You didn't do roll call?
Oh, okay. Roll call. Ms. Konecki.
Present.
Ms. Drass. Mr. Essenplair. Here. Ms. Hollingworth.
Here.
Mr. Knuckles.
Here.
Mr. Ritter. Here. Mrs. Sadiq.
Here.
Vice President Hogirl.
Here.
President Quirkett.
Here. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we are moving right along quickly because we have no commendations today. So we have student representatives report. We have Marlena Kadar here for us.
Okay, so starting off the year, we had our college fair. We had 81 representatives with 350 people attending. There are also colleges coming to give like small group visits, 97 of those scheduled throughout the year. Fall sports are also in full swing with one special congratulations to Coach Holman, who secured his 2,500th win. So that was covered by some local news outlets. We also have the club fair coming up on September 30th. So that'll be during lunch in the courtyard. And each club at the school will have their own booth and encourage new members to join. We also have had senior orientation community meetings. So for the first 15 minutes of lunch once a week, the guidance counselors will have all the seniors come down to the auditorium and give quick little speeches to make sure we're on track with college applications, inform us on important steps in the college process, like linking transcripts and requesting letters of recommendation and naviance. Freshman orientation has also begun. That's run by the peer leaders. Small classes run by the peer leaders themselves to encourage bonding and improve connections. Another peer leader event is the freshman barbecue. That'll be this Friday before the football game. There's games like spike ball and cornhole, and there's a cookout, and a special thanks to the PTA for Mr. Softy for that event. And then a little update on our wall wrap project. So that'll be right in this hallway down by the library. So we met with Sunrise Design and developed a timeline for the project for future meetings and wall designs. So over fall break, we're going to have one wall done with the new crest we created. And then over Christmas break, the other two walls with the alma mater and a big Haddonfield H. So we're excited about that. And then also for Lizzie Haddon, they're having the fall fair on September 26th. So that's exciting as well.
Tomorrow. Right.
Yep, tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice that you're including stuff about the elementary schools.
Yeah.
As everyone getting excited and nervous energy about submitting applications.
Oh yeah, I think, but the guidance counselors have done a good job, like making sure we know exactly what we need to do and everything. So.
Good. Yeah, that's great. They've been on top of it. Did you think coming in that, I know you don't have anything to compare it to, but coming in, did you come in for this session in the summer?
Yeah, I did. That was pretty helpful. I think especially like there's a lot of like little things that you like don't know about, like just like the way you have to format things or the way that like you need to submit your transcripts that like I would have no idea how to do. So I think like putting that in our heads early was helpful.
Good.
The other day, I was stopped in and you apply to a lot of schools, and every school you get then have to generate your own portal. So there's new passwords and everything for every school. So
yeah,
even if the method they give you of saving all your passwords is access.
Yeah, they shared like a Google form with us, and then basically it had like a whole big spreadsheet of like enter your email that you use, like here's your portal, like your decision hasn't come in yet, so that way like you're on top of the decisions and everything.
That is really difficult if you don't stay organized.
Yeah.
Do they recommend you use your school email or your personal email?
Only the personal
Yes,
email,
fine.
because if not, the school like blocks incoming
Yeah,
emails.
that's
from
fine.
parents.
Yeah, sounds good. Good, all right, well, thank you. All right, we are not gonna have Len and Collier's here today, so Mr. Klaus is gonna give us a bit of an update.
Sure.
We did meet with them in committee too.
Correct. Yeah, we know that. And so just give you a quick update of some referendum stuff. So middle school auditorium started ahead of schedule. They got their permit quicker than possible, quicker than they thought. So they were planning on starting the 29th, which is next week. They had the seats out and demolition started the seats were out by Tuesday, basically. So they had that done. Demolition started there. That's moving along very well. At the elevator here in the high school and the stadium ADA lift, they have a punch list they're going through, so that's being finished up. Everything else is good. We had a pre-bid meeting in the 1890s building at Central School. Those bids are due on 10/10. We hope to award those bids on 10/16, so that'll be next month. That work is planned to start as soon as possible. We have a start date of December 1st, but as soon as they can be done anytime because there's no students, no one's in that building. So we'll let them have the building as soon as the construction company is ready to go. As with everything else, HVAC systems are a concern. The HVAC system for the middle school auditorium is a 21 to 31 week lead time, which means it's substantial completion for that. I think it's supposed to be early April. That's 7 months, and that's a crane to put it in, so that's going to be challenging to get that done. And it becomes tricky because you pull the old one out, and if something goes bad, and now you get into the cooling season, you have nothing there. And all the new finishes can't be conditioned, so you can't pull the other. So it's all those things go on. Central School roof was scheduled to be completed, redone in 2027. However, they were looking at it, and it's in rough shape, and they're wondering if they can do it as part of it this year, coming up 2026. That comes into where this is one of the reasons we have colors is bidding that separately versus bidding a part of a bigger project makes a big difference cost-wise as they go to scale. So they're looking at whether they think it's worthwhile to try to roll the dice for the year or try to bid it out of a 2-year thing or 2-year project. So that's in there. And then yesterday I spent, I don't know, a year and a half yesterday with the Haddon Tatum page turning. So they're going from, land has done their design drawings and they're going to go to construction drawings now. So they went to, before you go there, you make sure everything's what you want. So we went through, we looked at all the nuances and asked questions and did a lot of stuff looking at finishes too. So the color of the carpeting, the color of the walls. So we spent a lot of time doing that. And I have no taste apparently because everyone seems to like stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. That's a quick update on what we're doing.
The lead time on the HVAC is driven by manufacturing issues, right?
Correct. They have to be made. We're not going out and buying a full-ton air conditioner for a house. They've got to be made specifically for this project. So it's designed specifically here, so they have to go out and get all the parts from all over the place and get them shipped in. And they're behind in the units and the parts, and they have to construct it and design it and put it together. That's the part of it. I was thinking the same thing. Like, they'll just have one lying around some Home Depot back. That's not the case.
Aisle 3.
Aisle 3, yeah. We'll call Hutchinson.
School Depot.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Matt, did you do curriculum last week or did we just have one?
We just had one. I feel like I do it every week. I'm happy to. We had a good meeting.
9/19.
That was internal commentary. Sorry. We met on the 19th, and we had a really good meeting. Actually, we looked at various minorly revised curriculum maps, I would say, and talked about essentially a couple of, like, for example, the new physics of sports curriculum. We talked about kind of interesting tweaks, the accelerated physics, the multivariable calculus class, and modifications to the elementary and middle school and high school phys ed curriculums. Everybody is aware that our curriculum supervisors collaborate very closely with all of the grade level teachers and the experts in this space, and everyone seems really impressed, including our curriculum committee with the great progress that's made there, with significant focus on kind of ensuring that sort of continuity, right, from K up through 12 in these different areas. We then had Shannon Simkis and Jerry Bissinger come to talk about a project they've been working on with Danetta as well on the SMARTS executive functioning curriculum program. This, I think Gino alluded to this in a recent meeting as well, and we're really excited about this. So it's about executive functioning, since we already said that, which we all know, to put kind of in layman's terms, this is things for kids like study skills, planning, how to be organized as you think about your day and what you need to be successful, how to kind of monitor your progress and how you're kind of adhering to those expectations, I guess. And so I think the quick version is that these skills are designed to help kids both in school and in life generally. So this program will begin in grade 3, but we learned a lot about the advantages of the SMART program and how it can be kind of flexed and modified for multiple different grade levels. And kids can be learning about things like how I manage my work, systematic organization, memory strategies, and ways to focus yourself. So that was all really exciting. We're really pleased to see that proceed. These lessons will occur during the WIN block, what I need blocks, and really again are relevant for all students. That's what makes it, I think, so appealing. Flexible lessons, etc. They're going to pilot with the 3rd grade, get feedback, and expand to other grades. And I think by now everybody received the parent square and other communications. Or I know I saw something. Am I making this up?
Not on this one. So
Oh,
these
okay.
maps and the executive functioning curriculum will be on next month's sports cycle for review and approval.
Sure. Sorry, I'm mixing
No, that's
things
okay.
up. Then I thought there
It was one of those months where
too many
it
things.
fell in too late to be on this month's agenda.
I see.
So this stuff will all be on October's Board of Education.
Oh, sure. And sorry, Gino, I thought that I was recalling like a parent-oriented communication about the executive functioning stuff, but that didn't, I made that up too.
That was something probably
Something different.
in regard to a survey
At the middle school.
Gotcha.
at the middle
Okay,
school.
that's what I'm thinking.
Same topic, different.
Got it. Different
Different
audience.
The
All right.
curriculum maps for those were great when I
Yeah.
looked at them.
Yeah.
That whole curriculum seems fantastic.
Yep, and we'll be providing all that to the board and be posting it on our curriculum page for folks, anyone to review.
Terrific.
Information.
With the physics course, the physics and sport, to take AP physics, do they need to take a full year of physics, or would they qualify for AP if they just took the sport physics and then?
You have to take accelerated physics for AP
Okay.
because it's almost, there's physics, mechanics, and physics. There's two,
Yep.
AP has 2 parts, and basically the accelerates 1/2, and AP
Got it.
comes the second half. I mean, that's not an absolute. I mean, there probably are some who grew up with
Yeah.
the way it's designed is to take the accelerated.
That sounds very thorough. I remember when I was in high school, you could just take AP without anything else, which was a lot. But the sport and physics curriculum seemed amazing. I think I would have been a much better physics student had I had access to that.
I thought the same thing, Steph.
What were the changes to multivariate calc?
Have to have
In
Gino on
essence,
speed dial.
We didn't really, almost didn't have a map because it's not
That's
a high school
okay.
course.
There was no official map
Right.
until now,
Yeah,
so.
We basically ran, I'm sorry.
Nope.
We kind of ran off
Yeah.
the syllabus. So
Okay,
we took the syllabus and made a map.
now the state standards are incorporated as this college course or something. right?
Well, we
Yeah, there
we
aren't
didn't have an
actual-
existing map on this because this is not a required course by the New Jersey Department of Education.
And
So
the
they
standards
never
aren't-
required a map, so there aren't standards
Because
associated
it's
with that.
college course.
Because it's a college level course.
Mhm.
But in doing our due diligence, we developed a map so we can communicate what the course is about, scope and sequence, and that will be for members. Again, we'll have access to reviewing that beginning next week.
Yeah, and they have it on the minutes too.
Yeah, we have it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so they,
I was-
so
Yeah.
they're referenced.
They're all
What's
in
nice
the
is
same-
since there aren't
Okay.
standards for that directly in the math curriculum, it's the overlap, the interdisciplinary connections and the career readiness. So that's, I think, really nice to see that in that form.
And then the future plan for executive functioning. So that's great that we're starting, we're gonna pilot, get feedback, but what are the thoughts to?
Well, a little bit more nuance to that. So we did a pilot a year and a half ago with Central's 5th grade. And we did pre and post survey data, showed excellent growth, effectiveness of the program, obviously a very small sample size. At the same time, we thought it was enough information to move forward with the recommendation to implement in grade 3 beginning this year. And then plan to go 3 and 4 next year and 3, 4, 5, 2 years from now.
Okay, got it,
Yep.
thanks.
You got it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm interested in the more longer term data of how that impacts those students going into middle school when they do have more freedom and we usually see different scores.
Yep.
And do those executive functional skills carry them throughout? I'd also like if we can somehow be reinforcing those in middle school after they're finished so that the common languages continue to be used throughout with all the teachers. Maybe at some point have a
And an
Special
interesting
development.
point about that, we used to have a study skills course in the middle school. But truth be told, it wasn't really a study skills course. It devolved into more homework help, which is not a bad thing, but is not explicit teaching to be able to give students the skills to not be reliant
Right.
on having to have a class where a teacher's helping you with your homework.
right.
So it's conceivable that this could be something that we look at similar to what we did with the iReady math program where we saw success in K-5. We want to articulate that to grade 6. So that math program is now being implemented. So based on the success of this, it's conceivably something we can build into the middle school. And again, through the tutorial period. So similar to the implementation that we're proposing next month in grade 3, it's happening during the WIN period. So it's not taking away from any of the core content areas. The WIN period is what I need period. So when we provide remediation and enrichment and extension to students. So yeah, we would like to see that articulated based on success.
Additionally, not as well, but middle school is working on this as well. So Meg referenced the survey that students were taking. There will be lessons on the executive function, doing tutorial. So Corey is overseeing this. They're going to identify students based on the survey who struggle with this and have intensive groups, like a support group to run them through. So this year, everyone, 6, 7, 8, are all getting agenda books that will be checked and taken through how to do an agenda book, how to do it right. So they're working on that too as well. So it's a way to step out there.
I suspect, Gina, was there a PD recently on how to work this throughout the curriculum? Because I noticed my daughter's in 5th now and she came home with her math test and had an exit ticket on it that was really focused on the metacognitive of how did you feel about this assessment? What would you need to be more successful? And I just thought that was fantastic. And it was clearly coming from sort of the same place.
Yeah, that's probably just good teaching. We haven't done anything explicit with this yet. So once if we receive board approval, then we'll move forward with the training and all the other good stuff. We also, in conjunction with this, the actual author of the program has been booked as our keynote speaker for November's professional development.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we're trying to
Nice
tie it all
tie-in.
together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah,
Gina just
I
saved me the last paragraph of my update, so that's perfect. But yeah, that's terrific. So they will, well, pending, as you say,
Yeah.
approval,
Yeah.
they'll be proceeding and really going deep on this during the November PD, getting everyone comfortable with the knowledge that while this is being piloted in 3rd, these are skills and strengths that kids need across the board and in every age.
All right, thank you. Greg, did you have finance?
We did. We had it on the 16th. A couple of updates. The construction or repairs behind the stadium should be complete. That was, I think a question came up that we paid for that out of the facilities budget. Stadium bathrooms, we received the design and cost estimate. Now we're working with the booster clubs to try and find the funding for that. Communication towers, which comes up every now and then. But that water tower is going to come down, and the phone companies are looking for the temporary tower back where we park the buses. So we're in constant communication with them, working with the township, with the borough also to try and get the best spots for those long term. We'll be going out for RFP for our health benefit broker, I think in the next 30 to 60 days. We're looking at a sub-nurse rate of increasing the pay rate would attract a full-time nurse as opposed to sub-nurses, which we have to do at a higher pay rate. We're examining facility usage fees. We're looking at the rates. We're going to meet with all the sports teams to discuss the process before we, come up with firm costs. Our goal there is really to recoup our electric costs, our custodian costs, things we need to keep the buildings open and safe. It shouldn't be an outlay for the district. It should be paid for by the youth sports clubs. And that was about it. We got the budget calendar set. We're going to try and get ahead of it this year to have a little more time for the budget links on top of that. That was it.
Okay. Any questions for Greg? Thank you. Matt, did you go last?
Yeah, we've not had a meeting since our work session.
Okay. Lynn, did you have anything to add from Jeff? No? Nope. All right. Any PTA updates?
Tatum had its back to school night yesterday, which was really nice. The new scooter rack was installed this afternoon, so kids are going to be very excited to use that. Also, there's registration open for the PTA sponsored Meet Tech Mile, which is coming up the weekend of October, the second weekend of October. I'm unfortunately out of town for that, but it's really fun. It's a 1 mile route close to Tatum where kids and their families can go for a run wearing white shirts that they get with their registration, and volunteers throw colored powder at them. They come back all colorful and yeah, that's great.
Good, thank you. Anything else? That had me thinking of something that I had gone on about over the summer, but then now I'm just remembering it. I wonder if we can have some kind of, with incorporation with the police force, educating the students about electric bikes, electric scooters, the safety involved in that. Because so many, all those incidences over the summer were freaking me. And I remember I went on and then, I got busy and I forgot. But maybe something like that to really.
I'll talk to Kirk, because he met with the juniors and seniors about driving in parking lots that are dangerous. He's actually working with fifth grade starting next week with a bunch of with a program. So I'll talk to him if you have a favorite program about that.
Yeah, I think even
great
like
idea.
that would be like your middle school.
Right, but I'm
fifth
not
grade,
sure
but
what
yeah,
program they have.
yeah,
Check with what
exactly.
they have.
But yeah, I mean, it might be.
And
worthwhile.
potentially also parent education, because I think people don't necessarily realize just how dangerous some of these things are.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Priolo?
Yeah, so big changes are coming to the standardized testing landscape this year. New Jersey has revised both the NJSLA assessment and the NJGPA assessment and are using entirely new tests with an entirely new vendor. So for years, these tests were developed and scored by Pearson. They have now changed vendors to a testing company called Cambion. And the most significant change is that these assessments will be adaptive assessments, meaning that depending on how a student responds, the questions will either increase in complexity or decrease in complexity, but still being focused on that grade level's standards. We also, as a result of this, there is not a field test that all New Jersey students are required to participate in. So we're just working through that now. And this is relatively new information. We just found out about that a new test was coming in what, July, maybe August?
It was August.
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
So the first round of training just happened yesterday. I participated in that as the district testing coordinator. So here's what we know. We know that the testing window for what did I just say? I just lost it. Not
Field test.
the field test. For the field test between October 27th and November 14th. So the administrative team, we're looking at selecting the dates that we'll administer. It's either going to be over 2 days or 3 days. It winds up being 4 hours of field testing. It's actually more than we anticipated.
So this is in addition to the actual testing? They'll do
Yeah,
the
so
practice
field
test?
testing will happen sometime between October 27th and November 14th. The dates for the actual assessment will continue to be in that May window that we typically have done. All students in grades 4 through 10 will participate. So essentially, I'll take 4th grade, for example, they're going to take the 3rd grade field test to help set the norms for the spring's 3rd grade test. So everyone's kind of taking based on the previous year's standards.
And in math, if you were in Algebra 1 last year, you were in Algebra 2 this year, you're taking Algebra 1 test.
That's correct. So that's about all we know so far. So right now with the administrative team, we're working on getting trained and up to speed on the logistics and all the behind the scenes work that it takes to put these assessments together, building rosters, proctors, training the teachers. This is all new information. And we, like I said, we got a first glance at this only yesterday. So I'm actually meeting with the admin team tomorrow to begin putting this plan into motion, to make sure we have a training plan, make sure we understand how to do it. We identify when we're going to train the staff and get our students ready for the field test.
In terms of adaptive testing,
Yeah.
are the assessments that they're already doing in iReady and IXL adaptive?
Yes.
So it's not an
So
entirely new
conceptually-
concept for the kids, at least?
No, just brand new to our state testing process.
Environment.
Like for me, it's, the kids probably don't even know the difference. Like, I don't understand how you can get standardized data when the tests are standard across the board.
Yeah,
That's what I'm struggling
we that has not been laid out yet. My understanding is other states have rolled a similar test out successfully.
Are they calling them standardized tests or are they renaming it?
Well, they're calling it, well, technically it's called the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment.
So there you go.
So,
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
It's how to get around
How
it.
does that, like, so now we've got years of data and suddenly you can't really look historic.
yeah. So the DOE's take on this is, regardless that it's an adaptive assessment, regardless that it's new, it's still assessing student mastery on a New Jersey student
And it'll still be
learning
core
standards.
All right.
So what's being assessed has not changed. We don't know how student testing results will come out. Will it be the same level 1 through 5? We don't yet know whether this will be comparable to previous year's tests. This is a departure from how the Department of Education has done this previously. When they've changed vendors, meaning changing the actual test, year 1 is usually just baseline results. So it's, you usually just take that year and it can't get compared. But what they're doing differently is they're requiring us to test students twice. So that field test will essentially establish those testing levels. And this will be a live test in the spring. So that's about as much as I know that would be helpful public information, aside from the behind the scenes stuff regarding the setup, starting the class rosters, and kind of the technical setup that we have to do, which is a considerable amount of work. So as I get more information, I'll share it publicly with the board.
Wow. And then instructionally, like that time's coming from somewhere, right?
Yes.
That really is unfortunate.
And is the, I don't know if I missed it, is it still, do they still need to pass this for graduation, just as in the past?
Yes. So the NJ GPA, the graduation, it's still being billed as a graduation proficiency assessment.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Well, thank you for leading the charge, Gino. It sounds like an exciting one.
Here's the silver lining from the administrative lens. The operating system of this new one is much more user-friendly than
Okay.
the Pearson system, which you needed a
Multiple
I was gonna say
master's
doctoral degree. I have that and I still couldn't use it effectively. So whatever it is, it was not a very user-friendly system. And well, the last point I'll make, the rub this year is with this spring's test, we'll be using the new Cambium system for English language arts and math, but we're still required to use the Pan Pearson system for the science.
And that's
So
with
we're gonna
dates
be running two platforms, setting up in two different systems, we're requiring two different sets of standards, but you know, that's the work we'll do, and we'll do it well and get it done, get everyone ready.
All right, Mr. Cross, on that note.
We spoke last time we met about the school calendar, the academic calendar 26, 27. We did get some feedback, so I want to go over this and try to take you through where I think we need to be and when we need to be there. So today I'm sharing some of the feedback. We got a little bit of it. Didn't get a lot of responses, but the people who did respond gave very thoughtful responses. I thought that we sharing those. Next work session, based on the feedback I get from the board today, I'll come up with a direct calendar, and we can talk about it then, throw it out, and maybe come back with another one. But I'd like to have the first reading by the 16th and the second reading in November. And the reason why we usually get this done early, like January, February, I think given the construction, I'm going to try to have the January, February, have the 27, 28 calendar, not earlier. I think we're going to need to do that for our architects and that. There's 3 weeks that matter in this discussion. August 31st, December 4th, November 2nd to 6th, that's the November break, and March 22nd to April 2nd. That's actually 2 weeks, that's spring break. They're the only 3 things that vary. And the first one is really what we have to talk about, because that dictates any other option we have. So my goal tonight is just take you through what those options and those decisions and how they might affect things. There are 3 summer-specific projects, or actually no, there's 4 summer-specific projects next year that we have to talk about. We need to have substantial completion and inspection done before certain areas can be used. We learned this year that having a really late substantial completion can jam you up because we failed inspection 48 hours before school is supposed to open. We were lucky because inspections are done on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We called in some favors and got a Friday inspection. And even more so, we called in a couple favors because every school district in the area who has construction done needed their people working that day. So we were able to bring back and get the company to come back with some people to program the smoke alarms. Luckily, we had them. If Tim didn't have extra smoke alarms, we would not have been open. It had on opening day with the inspection. So one of the adjustments we made with our architect was we're giving ourselves like 3-4 week lead time for substantial completion. So that way, if we fail inspection, we can get it fixed. But these projects have to be done in the summer. Interior alterations at Tatum. So the current library is being made into OTPT room. It's a small group instructions. That's a very small project. That's really nothing to worry about. Interior alterations at Central. There are some rooms in the first floor. They're being small group instructions and offices being made into a classroom. And then the middle school, one nurse's office in Central Middle is being made into 2 nurses' offices. Now there's plumbing and stuff like that involved. That's a little more complicated. That's probably a little smaller than the Haddon job, but it's that similar scope. The next 2 are the ones to think about. So in Tatum next summer, beginning when the school ends, and by the time we make our calendar open, we have to set columns in the ground, put up steel, and make it weather tight that summer. That way work can continue through the year. So next summer, Tatum will not be habitable. There will be no one working in Tatum. There'll be Danetta and Connecticut will be placed somewhere else. And until we get that in place and sealed up, we'll be able to work there. So that has to be done in time for teachers to get back in. So we need to give ourselves some time there. Haddon's the same thing, but Haddon's different. Tatum, they're going to take, when they have to put the second floor on, they're going to tear a hole in the ceiling, drive a pillar down, seal up around it, and seal it up. That's fine. Tatum are taking a roof off. So they have to get this all done. I mean, Haddon, they're taking a roof off. So to get this all done, get a new roof on top of it. So it's a real tight timeline for that. So there are the things that have to happen. That's why we're looking for a substantial completion date that's not 48 hours before school starting, if possible. It's not going to be the 2 weeks we're looking for. Like in the 1890s project coming up this year, we're putting substantial completion January 17th. Gives us a month and a half just in case, right? We won't be able to do that with these projects. These are going to have to be within a week, 10 days. That's what's going to have to happen. These are the start dates. And I have calendars printed out. The board members can take a look at them. I'm going to show the calendars on the slide later on. So these are some calendars I made up in case you want to look at them while I'm talking through. There's three basic options. Starting dates of 8/28 for staff and 8/31 for students. I'll talk about why I put that in there. That would require substantial completion by 8/20, maybe 8/23. That would be where we're looking for that. So if you look at your sheet, if you look at the sheet, I'm sorry, I should have made it from the audience. I'll show these things in a minute. That's the first one is form 2 size.
Do you have extra?
Yeah, you have some
I can
extra.
share with Steph.
Yeah, share maybe hand some out to the audience.
Yeah, we can share.
There's another spare.
I'm gonna get to them now. I'll be showing these in a minute, but I wanted to talk through why we want to have these happen.
Yeah.
If we were to bring this, if we were to bring the staff back on August 31st and the students back on September 1st, we pull that weekend, you have a full November break. You have got the staff in on 8/28 and the students in on 8/31. That's a difference there. So that's bringing students in early. So the substantial completion, in the red is the date that matters, which is 8/20. You can roll the dice, maybe put it to 8/23. Land's more comfortable with 8/20 on that calendar. Tim said he can make things because after land gets done, we can get the inspection. Our people have to come in and rebuild the classroom. They bring all the desks in and clean them and do all those things, right? So that's part of this challenge too, is giving time for that. We could have the staff start 8/31 and the students start 9/8, which would be the 4 PD days before Labor Day. That's the second model on here. What that doesn't change is the substantial completion date. You're still 8/31 is the date. So those two models are the same. We can do whichever, if you want to, if that's what we want to go with, starting the substantial completion 8/20, we can go with either one of those models. And just say you decide whether you want to eliminate shorten the November break and go with a pre-Easter break, or if you want to try to maintain 2 breaks. That's what we can decide. The third model is staff is 9/2 with 2 PD days, and the students start 9/8. Because staff's not coming in until 9/2, that pushes substantial completion date to 9/24, which is a Tuesday. That gives you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for inspections, and then the 24th.
8/20. I thought you said 9/20.
I'm sorry, 8/24. That buys you guys a couple days of summer work because you're not bringing anyone in the buildings until 9/2. I don't have included in this new teacher orientation because we could do that anywhere. We could do it in the high school where nothing's going on. We could do it in the Borough Hall. We could borrow a room there. That's something we could do anywhere. Not the first day for teachers is the key, which is one of those days, 8/28, 8/31, or 9/2. So there's where we have to make that first thought process. So that's where we have to pick one of those three, and then I can do whatever you want to do. I'll build whatever I'm going to build around that. So we did, as I said earlier, we did get some feedback. It was it was only about 10 people, double digits. But I said they were very thoughtful, so I wanted to share them with you. It was a small sample size of parents, HEA, and staff members. And then I actually went out and got feedback from my administrators, facilities, and land or architects. Pre-Labor Day start, which is the first model up there. Parents like this the most. Out of the parents, I think all but one wanted this, and here's some of the reasons they gave. And Ms. Stoner talked about this very thing last time we met. AP students, more time for exams, earlier out in June, preserves the important breaks like fall and spring break, and aligns with the schedules of working parents and older siblings going to college. That was the feedback from parents we got. HEA preferred the 831 and 898. Correct me, right, Jason? That's what we talked about, the 4 PDAs beforehand. The administrators, they prefer not to have the 4 days of PD. They like the model of 2 days before PD. And what came out of the administrative talk was, we talked about November PD and how November's broken up. They said if we get away from this, they wouldn't mind getting away from that altogether. Just abandon the 3 November days and give me 3 PDAs somewhere else, and we can put them out that way. Maybe 2 before the start, 1 in October and 1 in November. They, especially the supervisors, said they thought there'd be more effective PD if we did that.
Okay.
So this could be a Band-Aid rip there too, just as a side part, right?
Yeah,
That'd be
that
the side
sounds like important feedback.
Right, yeah, yes. Land, the longer the summer can be, the better. He's very straightforward with that. And 26 summer being longer is more important than 27 summer being longer because of Elizabeth Haddon specifically. They want to get that, make sure you can get that thing locked down. And there was an interesting statement. Substantial completion is not about time, it's about money. When you press people to complete a project in fewer days, you're increasing the price because of the likelihood of overtime. So the idea that to stay on budget, you want to give as much time for substantial completion as you can as possible is a significant factor. It's a money issue, it's not a time issue. He said you could get any of these jobs done in 5 weeks, but you're paying for 24 hours a day labor, right? That's the challenge,
Or
right? There's
additional people.
additional people. That doesn't work that way, right? So, and then Tim said, I'll do what you need me to do, basically. He likes 3 days minimum between inspection and completion to get rooms. They did it in 24 this year. They'll do it 24 again if they need to. He kind of liked, Tim liked the August 30th. I'm sorry, that's actually the 31st, or the 30th is Sunday. With the completion of the 20th. That's actually the 24th, I think. I missed that sentence. He said, he thought Tim's feelings were he'd rather get the later substantial completion date. He'll make things happen on his end. So that was the conversation. That's the feedback we received. About breaks, that was about November, specific about September. Breaks, the parents said to rethink the November break. Breaks the momentum in the school year early on. We got both sides of the spring break, the pre-Easter, the post-Easter. The pre-Easter being more inclusive with other religious holidays, and lower travel costs. The post-Easter along with neighboring school districts. Teacher feedback we got, all the teachers I spoke with were post-Easter they like the spring break because it aligns with places, districts where they live, and they can travel with families, so that's a nice benefit for them. We didn't really, my man, Tim, and the administrators I didn't ask them about the break because I wasn't concerned with what they said. It wasn't my focus on what I was trying to gather from them.
Chuck,
Yes.
have you had any discussions with other districts about whether or not they're thinking about moving spring break to be more inclusive?
No, and it varies. If you go to Gloucester County, is Monday, Friday. But there a lot of those are 2-day spring breaks. I talked to Haddon Township last year. When we moved ahead before, we enveloped Passover last year because we moved before. Bob reached out and asked, if we're doing that, and we talked through the rationale why we do it, and we actually did it for that, but also it helped us get out before Juneteenth too. So it served 2 purposes there. Their calendar is different. They were out before Juneteenth anyway. They don't have as many days as we do because of our pre-day. But you look at other school districts, like Cherry Hill's calendar is much different than anyone else's, and the way they have inclusively built their calendar. And traditionally, it's been Camden County's post-Easter, Gloucester County's pre-Easter. It's been that way, and they tend to do it in counties, but it's shifting up more now. And then, we can talk for a little bit now, or you can just say, whatever. What I don't. Next steps. We'll have a final discussion on the on the 9th next month. Right now, I will present a draft or 2 based on board's desires. So you guys tell me right now. I want to see a draft that looks like it gets kids in before, or gets the latest possible substantial completion date, or does whatever, and I'll draft 1 or 2 of those. And things to keep about the desire to keep November PD. we have people here who are looking at this one way. I remember when we used to have a February break. Those of us who have been here a long time. It wasn't a November break. It was a February break. It was ski weekend. And when we moved ski weekend to Disney week, which it is now in November, it was as if we were destroying the world. I think that I think you're going to get some pushback on the PD days, but I would say, regardless of what we do, I think our future vision is to break those days up regardless. I think our future vision is, I'll tell you, if we go with this model and we bring the kids in on September 1st, I would actually recommend, I would come back with a model that breaks those 3 PDs up right now and try to spread them out. I mean, I heard very clearly from a lot of people that they thought that could be done better. So we would look at that, right? And then desire to keep the full spring break, pre or post. And if we went with pre or post. Now, these are the models that you guys are looking at. This is the students coming in on the 1st. We have the spring break, which you can see in March, is a pre-Easter break. This is the 4 days of PD. Once again, the spring break is a pre-Easter break. And this would be the model with the 2 PD days and the students coming in on the 8th. And this is that short PD day, right? That short spring break. It's only 4 days plus the weekend. Remember also, all these are 181-day calendars. I can build a 180-day calendar, which would mean that this March 24th would be spring break day. If you have a snow day, you're in school that day. That's how that would work. So I don't want to get too much into that. I can bring up models of that.
Yeah.
But the only way we could get right now a post Easter break, which would be March 25th until April 2nd, would be to have teachers in on this model on the 28th and the students in classes August 31st, September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So I don't even have a model up here because I don't know that that's something we want to do. I don't think that makes sense to have that. I think that's it's just too much there, I think. But I can do it if we want to. So
I have a quick question.
Sure.
And I'm just going to toss this out there, which could be wildly unpopular. That's okay. But I'm just curious. We keep talking about, well, we don't. Land keeps talking about the importance of having as much summer as possible. This year's academic calendar is already set. As we look into future calendars, one thing that has not changed in any of these models is the final week of school. It's still the same. This is not forever. This is just for now. Is there a scenario where we could actually configure this, break up the PD days, you have some shorter breaks, and we dismiss a week earlier to have a longer summer for construction? That's not forever.
Mhm.
It's for now. Maybe wildly unpopular, but I'm throwing that out there as another, has that been considered? Is that an absolute impossibility?
no, but I mean, it has to be considered. It could be done.
But they said it's more important this summer.
But
So
it
it's too
that-
late.
I just went back just to check.
They,
because I was
did
thinking
say
of
that, but didn't say that it wasn't important the following summer. They said both summers would be
It's
great.
true.
So that's why I bring it up, because this summer we can't do anything about it. So the question is,
Well, we can do something about it on the back.
Back,
started
it's like the
mid-September.
start end.
yes, you could. But if that doesn't work, depending on how all this goes and what feedback looks like, I thought it was a possibility. I said it would be wildly unpopular. Sounds like it could be started that way. That's okay. Just another,
Yeah, I know.
just something else to think about as a possibility. Because again, we know that breaks are valued and that sort of stuff. But if this is a temporary deal for a year or whatever to help with construction in the following summer, then maybe that's something that is also an option to look at. I don't know.
I mean, you have some oddities this year in the calendar. If you look at the
Yeah.
winter break, right? I mean, January 1st is a Friday. Right? I think this is
Right.
the longest winter break you can have.
Right.
So you hit the latest Labor Day, the longest winter break.
Exactly.
It's that perfect storm of
That's
those things coming together. We could always compress the spring break. The 5th and 6th of November, we're closed. We have to be. It's convention.
Correct.
Thanksgiving, we have to be closed. I mean, besides the days wrapping around our spring break, there's not much else you can touch in this calendar.
I agree.
I mean, I guess we could say we could come to school on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of December.
That's not gonna happen.
But I will be retiring January 1st.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting
So we'll
that.
know that. This is just, the way this calendar breaks hurts us in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And so, I think we have to go back to this. And I can go back to land and get specific details and get them out, but the substantial completion date is the date that matters. And you tell me, work everything you can to get that as late as possible, and I'll come back with as late as possible, I get substantial completion. Or you can say, listen, if we come in on the 20th, we go substantial completion on the 20th, we either have first two models, I don't care which one. The teachers are in on the 31st, or the students are in on the teacher on the 31st, or the staff starts with 31st is first day for staff. Either 4 PDAs or students the 9th, the students get. They're both the same. They're both the same problem to solve for me. So it doesn't matter. And you could say, listen, that gives us substantial completions on the 20th. That gives us really 10 days to make sure there's any hiccups. We might be comfortable. I can gauge land and color and say, what's up? Give me a comfort level, 1 to 10 on that. Land's going to say, no problem at all with Tatum, with Central and Tatum. Central and Tatum's interior. Pretty confident about Tatum. Haddon's the one that's going to make me nervous. And I can sit down with colors and say, Rich, give me your feedback on this. And nail them down what they think the latest possible substantial completion date is.
Yeah.
Right now, these are conversations where we're trying to make sure
That are experts.
our experts in this, but it's also if you get this one wrong, and we can't open school in September, that's really a problem. So we're being a little conservative here. If we want to push it, I can challenge
We probably have
it.
to be a little
Right.
conservative
I
here.
think that's
That's
the
what we're
kind of
talking
thought
about.
process.
Can I just ask a question? So just thinking about, you kind of mapped this out, and beautiful job, Chuck. Hopefully we don't have 700 more calendar drafts, iterations, and your
It's actually kind of fun to do.
But I think you're talking about the three things, right? The start date, the PD, November or whatever that looks like, and then the spring break piece. The one piece that seems like kind of the no-brainer, if there is one out of this, is the PD. And I'm saying that simply based on the fact that you said the supervisors
You mean
believe,
the 3 November block? Yeah.
correct, that we can put together more effective PD programs doing it that way. To me, like, if this is about helping our teachers and supporting them, and that's the best way to do it, bingo, right? Like,
So, yeah, I mean, there's an advantage. If you break up those days, there's a lot of schools in the county have Columbus Day PD, and then you have countywide PD. So there's things like that we can't take advantage of our calendar. So, I mean, that would be something we could look at.
yeah, well, I'm trying to not that we're trying to solve it and vote right this second, but that one seems like kind of low-hanging fruit compared to the other two. And just that it seems as though, based on the small sample size feedback you've gotten and what we've been talking about, that we have some strong options here, but I just want to reiterate the PD piece.
And as I said before, I don't really have a dog in this one, no matter what. But, I'll get, and I'll send I'll notes out to the board about press land hard and colors on the substantial completion, and Tim about really what is, we're picking Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because they're inspection days. Is that really necessary? Can we make it a Monday? Right? So we're trying to fall in those lanes, and then get that out there, and then the decision's going to be. I'm going to say the 9-2. If the board wants to take on the shopping and the acne when you take away part of the spring break, I think 9-2 is probably the better model out of it because it just gives us the latest possible substantial completion. If you don't want to do that, 8/31, that's fine. Then you decide whether you want students back in before or after Labor Day. There's two different questions. I mean, it's going to be 8/31 start or a 9-2 start. There are two start dates. If it's an 8/31. The board, we got to talk about whether we want all 4 days PD or if we want to bring students in later. Based on the parent feedback we got, the parents we heard from, which is, once again, it was a handful of parents, but all gave really thoughtful reasons why they thought that the free thing was better. So, I mean.
Yeah, I think we understand. I just think it's just complicated.
Yeah.
And how do you want us to go about this? Are you going, do you want us to do a vote on each calendar? Or do you want to, Like, are you gonna
I-
present both
I have
calendars
no
and we
idea.
vote on
I was
them?
kind of hoping you guys would take it from here.
I mean, I'm strongly in favor of pushing back the substantial completion date in order to be cost effective.
Yep.
I don't think it should be long. I don't think going forward after that, I think we should absolutely go back and now look at going
Is
back.
there a
and forth
calendar
every day.
that we could use that would move the November, like, put the November break days into spring break and spread the PD throughout the beginning?
Well, I think just the
So-
issue now, I think we first need to think about what are we, I don't think it's helpful for us to put too many calendars in the mix without deciding whether or not we should start either before Labor Day or after.
Yeah.
And I think that alone, then we can do some more tailored feedback on where the holidays and breaks should go. But I think knowing where we stand in terms of, I just know being very worried that we couldn't open this year. And I also know that our people, like Lan and Colliers are great. They're going to try to do what we ask them to do. And if you're pushing, and if we push them and say, can we get it done by this day? We don't want to put them in a situation where they're saying yes, and they're telling us up
Their
front it's
fingers
going to be
crossed.
more money.
Yeah.
But we don't have more money either.
Here is, because I don't think that we want Chuck to come up with 700.
No.
I
I think we have
And then
enough
each one of us
calendars.
vote on our own. So I think that there's principles that
Why we thought
we're
these
all agreeing.
So I guess that's why I'd like to go away with some guidelines of kind of the principles of.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I think that what we're hearing is, it seems like everybody was saying, yes, substantial completion date is
Trumps
important.
everything else.
So yes.
Is
that's
that what
important.
what we say? Because I wasn't sure.
Is
Is that
it seemed
what-
like everybody was
Yeah.
shaking their
That's
head.
what I see, yes.
If we do a
I
straw
think
poll,
that's the
then-
most essential, like,
Yeah.
these, not all
I
these
think if
things
we
are.
think overall about calendar goals, absent construction,
No, I'm not
Yeah,
going there.
no, but
Yes,
all
Steph,
the
I'm
people-
going
but
there
what
next.
Linda's
That's-
saying,
yes,
yes,
substantial
I think we
completion
are
for
all in
construction
agreement that
this summer.
substantial completion is.
Okay, because that means money. So is
Oh,
everybody in
sure.
agreement
What do you
with,
guys think?
with that?
I mean, and, yeah, the thing I need to press them on, I mean, anyway, go ahead, finish.
Okay, so
I'll
here's
press
where I
them.
was going. I think that there's certain principles that we need to talk about. Substantial completion date for this summer. Do we agree that that takes precedent and we're going to follow that? I also am hearing that Labor Day will not be sacred anymore. And that depending on the way that the calendar falls, we're going to do what's right for the students and deal with the pushback that we get from parents.
We've been in school before Labor Day today.
Yeah.
And Linda, just one quick edit to say, and if we, I think, can be super smart about saying, hey, this is our interim calendar. for
I'm
the
not
next
talking
2
insurance.
years.
That's
Oh,
why
you
I'm
are
saying
talking.
principal.
Like, now you are talking.
Now, yeah, so that, but the first
Thank
one
you
is,
for
first
clarifying.
one was for construction. But I think
I'd
that,
like to keep them separate. I'd like to have like these are our principles in this interim period, and these are our overall principles where we're leaning once we're through the interim period.
so then let's go with that.
I don't know that my
Right.
answer is different, but I think
So with
it's
construction, substantial completion is critical, and we're going to let the summer be as long as possible for substantial completion. I don't think, want to go to a 180-day calendar and roll the dice, because then we're gonna put ourselves in a bad situation with snow days, right?
Inevitably, we'll have a blizzard.
We don't want to push beyond the we don't want graduation to go into the 24th or whatever. So I think that then what's left is what's best for the teachers, and not what's best for families going on vacations.
And what's best for the students.
Yes.
In terms of
what's best for the
November break.
educational
Yes.
program.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And what we.
And that
Chuck's
includes
talking about the
happy
supervisors.
teachers that aren't stressed about childcare, continuity of learning.
Yeah, so I mean, I think your September 2nd makes sense. The staff starting September 2nd post Labor Day calendar.
That's calendar 3.
Calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are those 3 beginning days all PD days?
Those first 3 in light blue are new teacher.
Okay.
I was actually.
No, the dark blue and
The dark
November.
blue, yeah, so the dark blue, so the difference here, On this calendar, September 2nd will be our traditional opening day where we have our faculty meetings and this and that. And the September 3rd would be professional development. That day, the September 3rd is coming out of February because we usually have a February 12th PD day. So that's how I compress the calendar there. We're taking this February 12th PD day and moving that earlier before in September. And the supervisors said in the future they'd love to have those 2 days because we get a lot of new programs in place, and a lot of new programs that we need training on. That would give us a full day to get training and stuff like that to kick off the school year and not be stressed, because that way the first 2 days are half days and there's a lot of meetings with special ed teachers and general ed teachers and those type of things. So that would give a full day of dedicating to prepping new programs and new curricula for the school year in a focus space. So that's the supervisors like that model forever. But that's what that model entails.
But then this one also still has the full November break.
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's what I was asking
Okay.
about. Maybe
I mean,
that's something
I was-
where we.
I mean, one of the things I looked at doing was to take the full. By the way, this is the elementary calendar. That's why November 20th is there. That's parent
Last day.
Right.
parent stuff. So the high school's in school on the 20th of November. But if you were to take a day out of November, then you're going in for a 2-day week. One of those is election day. I got that, and then we can still keep February. I mean, we can talk about what that looks like, and maybe get another day November. Yeah, we're talking. I'm not going to talk about future ideas ahead. So that's why I kept the 3 days in November, because I didn't know that you would want to come in the 2nd and 3rd, and the 3rd being election day, which is kind of awkward with Haddon.
With
I
the
just kept it.
construction, won't that be better though? Aren't we not using that room with construction? So it would be locked off from
No,
the
that one will be in
students?
use.
Oh, it will be. I thought we were.
There's only 3 classrooms that are going to be used at Haddon. They're where the current kindergarten rooms are now. Actually, the 3 new rooms they just built are not going to be used next year.
And there's no other building that could take the place of the polling place.
Well, it's by district.
Right, but like
There's
there's
no
no
other-
other building in that
No,
district that would be
That's
appropriate
the only building that's not a private home,
in that district.
or not even a business. The only building is not. All right, so I'll take those principles.
Yeah.
I'll work off of this calendar. I'll press Land and Colliers on it. And then if they give me a different answer, I will come back with that answer in October. And I'll let everyone know ahead of time. I'll put out something to the community as well ahead of time, summarizing all those decisions. All right?
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Thanks for your work on that, Chuck.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot. Okay, I don't have much, just a reminder, the Haddonfield Fall Fair is October 4th. We're gonna have a
Oh, I
table
did
for
have
the
one on
board.
the slide. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did? Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'll just read them. I just haven't typed up. So, Lou Greenwald, was that
Yeah.
part of your report?
Yeah,
Okay, I won't say.
no, I didn't actually know, I had legislation
Okay.
at Cody Miller that I'm gonna see this week.
We're meeting with Lou Greenwald on the 8th.
On the 8th, right, yeah.
Student presentations are back next month. So the marching band's coming back.
Yay.
Yay. And then we have more testing data will be coming up as we get more. When Gino first gave it, we couldn't compare ourselves to J districts. That wasn't out yet. We're talking about having that come up in the fall. And then we have the workshop, NJSBA workshop coming up next month. So that's all good stuff. All right, thanks, Lou.
Well, it'll also be the full NJSLA presentation. Last time it was the GPA,
All right.
which, so
Thank you.
this will be our annual comprehensive assessment presentation.
Sorry, Gina.
Oh, that's
You're in the
okay.
flow.
No problem. Yeah, so we were talking about, we're meeting with Lou Greenwald to discuss more legislation and fair funding formulas. We have the Haddonfield Fall Fair, October 4th. Me, Jess, and Nusheen are going to be manning that. If anyone else is going to be around, feel free to jump in. Also, the HET is hosting their Rally in the Alley on November 2nd. They are currently looking for sponsors this year's, November 22nd.
Yeah.
This year's proceeds will benefit suicide prevention and awareness, mental health awareness at the high school, or I guess in the whole district,
High
right?
school and middle school.
And middle, high
Sorry,
school and
high
middle
school.
school. This Saturday, also I have a legislative committee meeting with Cody Miller that's going to be focused on upcoming legislation with schools. And then Camden and Gloucester County are having their school board meeting Tuesday at Adelphia's. If anybody wants to go, we're asked to extend the invitation if anybody wants to go. If you do, the invite is in. If you do, let me know at Naja's who you want to RSVP to. But I'm going. So, but yeah, so that's really it. I don't think I have too much else. All right, so let's start public comment. We'll now begin open public comment session. Members of the community are invited to speak for up to 3 minutes. If you'd like to make an additional comment, please wait until each person has had a chance to make their initial statement. All comments must be directed toward the board, not members of the public. This is an opportunity for the board to listen, but not debate issues or enter a question and answer period. Please be aware that not all issues brought up before a board meeting will be resolved that evening. We ask you to identify yourself by stating your name and the name of your street. While public education could be an emotional issue, we strive to maintain a certain level of decorum at the meeting. Public meetings are streamed and available for replay on YouTube, and students often participate in meetings. As such, citizens are expected to maintain a tone of courtesy and civility. Any comments?
Hi, Adrian Goldenberg. I'm co-president of the HEA. First of all, we just wanted to talk publicly about the calendar. As Mr. Klaus mentioned, the HEA did provide feedback and on the calendar options. And we just want to take this opportunity to publicly say that we appreciate you taking our preference into consideration when, as far as ending an earlier time in the year. There definitely is the pros and the cons for the PD development. It might be worth considering spreading it out throughout the year. But definitely it is something that PD is something that we take very seriously, and it's definitely something that we take back to our students and apply in our classrooms. We also think that maintaining a relatively normal spring break is also important for the members for many of the reasons that you had mentioned as well. We know that you're considering many factors in this decision. We thank you for considering that, and we thank you for taking in the perspective of the state.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. We will move on to governance. Acceptance of the monthly HIV, vandalism, violence report. Policies for approval. Bylaws. 0143, 0173, 0174, 0177. Policies 1570, 1620, 1636.01, 242, 5117, 5339.01, 6111, and 6220. Regulations 1570, 5117, 5200, 5330, 6111, and 6220. Approval to abolish policy 1648.15. Approval of the revised calendar for the 25-26 school reading for elementary and middle high school. Approval of board goals, board goal 1, 2, and 3. Approval of the 25-26 district goals. Motion? Linda and May. Questions or comments?
There's no HIV? Did I read that right?
Correct.
There were
None.
It's early. It's very good, but also very early.
Yeah, I know, but
I know, every time I click on it, there's nothing there.
I kept looking, I was like,
Celebrate
really?
good.
I thought it was user error.
Yeah, me too. That's great.
Fiddled with it.
And most of those are mandated policies, so
Yeah.
we can now allow students to sunscreen themselves, which is something they probably might have very well been doing before. And we have our board goals on there. Thank you all for your input on those. And thank you to all those, I know a lot of people came together for the district goals. All right, questions, comments? All right, Gina?
Mr. Essenplayer,
Yes.
Ms. Hollingworth,
Yes.
Mr. Knuckles,
Yes.
Mr. Ritter,
Yes.
Ms. Sadiq,
Yes.
Vice President Hoagirtle,
Yes.
Ms. Benecki,
Yes.
President Crooked.
Yes. Curriculum and special education approval, field trips, conferences, travel and overnight field trips, resolution to approve K-5 curriculum field trips, resolution to approve the K-5 optional field trips, resolution between the Board of Ed and First Children's Services for instruction for a student, resolution to approve Haddonfield Middle School CDI class trips for 25-26 school year, resolution to approve the PLC classes field trips for 25-26, resolution between the Board of Ed and Sky Yoga, resolution between the Board of Ed and Walsh Legacy for homebound instruction, resolution between the Board of Ed and Orchard Friends for out-of-district placement, resolution between the Board of Ed and Orchard Friends for another out-of-district placement, resolution between the Board of Ed and Burlington County Alternative School for an out-of-district placement, resolution between the Board of Ed and Gloucester County Special Services for a teacher of the deaf consultant, resolution between the Board of Ed and Gloucester County Special Services for a teacher of the deaf consultant, resolution between the Board of Ed and Cooper Learning Center for reading services to Christ the King, resolution between the Haddonfield Board of Ed and Gloucester County Special Services School District for a teacher of the deaf, resolution to approve the new and revised curriculum maps, and resolution to approve the new and revised curriculum maps for math and science. Motion? Steph? Eugene? Comments, questions?
I feel like I say it every time, but I love these curriculum maps so much. I think it's really great to be able to see everything all laid out really nicely, the books that they're reading,
I use them in my classes.
to show like.
Whenever I told them, like, this is what you like, this is where your standards
Yeah.
go, this is.
So we're a best practice.
Yeah,
I'll confess I don't look at the standards as deeply. but
Well,
I
and
like
you don't have to, but my
Right,
students
the
need
rest
to
of it.
learn that this is how you do
I
that.
mean, it's our job as oversight to
Yeah.
know that they're there, not to
Right.
comment on the content of what's in there, right? So,
Right.
I am just out of curiosity. So there's 60 preschool yoga sessions, which I love yoga. And I think it's great for kids. But preschool and not kindergarten. I'm just curious as to
Yeah.
why.
So that was established because preschool, they're the only level, they have no specials, no PE, no art, there's music therapy, but none of the traditional special area classes. So we established years ago a couple programs we thought were beneficial that we contract with a third-party vendor rather than building it into our special area schedule because it's something we don't have the capacity for. So the two items were music therapy and yoga.
Okay.
So that's their special. So they have some kind of enrichment activity that's built into the program.
I mean, I guess for that age kid too. I mean, truly, if it's yoga practice, they are having some quiet time, some reflective time, and
The kids love it.
Downward facing.
I've had the pleasure of being in that preschool class often when
It's adorable.
Miss Kelly comes in, and Susan Kelly's been providing that service since its inception. like 10 years
she's
ago.
great. I did
She's
yoga
great
with
with
her.
the kids love it.
Yes.
So it's been a great thing we've been able to continue.
And I have one other question. So Haddonfield and Cooper Learning Center provide reading services to Christ the King.
Correct.
They don't have the capacity to do that on their own? Just, this is really.
That's
Yeah,
my
I'm
overall
actually curious
question.
about that
That's all
too, because
fun.
we also have the teacher of the DAP now. Is this a pass-through entity?
We're past through,
Okay.
right? This is
Because
state
we're
federal
the-
funding.
okay.
So
Okay,
there's
that's-
IDEA funding that we're allocated, that a particular percentage of that we have to make available to our non-public
Got
counterparts.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my question too. I thought it was pass-through entity, but we usually see it and we don't, I feel like I don't usually see it in that way,
Okay.
but in other areas. I had a question. Oh, I like that we're doing the year's worth of field trips. That makes sense, right? It's like one of those things where it's like, boy, we probably could have done that like.
Yeah, and the only thing that was holding us up with that was our insurance provider. We need to make sure that how things are improved are aligned with the protocols of our insurance carrier. In other words, our biggest concern was if we did it in the beginning of the school year and if we changed the date, would that have a negative impact on any liability claims, God forbid there be some kind of accident? And they have relaxed their stance on that.
Oh,
And
okay.
our last communication with them when we requested to do it this way, they signed off on it. So that was the hurdle we had to get over to do it this way.
All right, can you call roll?
Oh, okay. Mr. Essenplayer,
Yes.
Ms. Hollingworth,
Yes.
Mr. Knuckles,
Yes.
Mr. Ritter,
Yes.
Ms. Sadiq,
Yes.
Vice President Hogertle,
Yes.
Ms. Benecki,
Yes.
President Crooked.
Yes. Okay, personnel, approval of personnel, transfer, salary upgrades, mentoring, extracurricular coaching appointments, leaves of absences and resignations. Resolution to approve compensation for Michael Donnelly to move his classroom. Resolution to approve compensation for employees for classroom preparation outside of contractual hours. Resolution to approve compensation for Megan Hesser. Resolution to approve a Rowan University student to be placed as a field experience shadow under supervision of Corey Metalone Halt. Resolution for Jessica Fingerman to provide two 30-minute sessions plus 1 hour prep time for MLL services. Resolution to approve Rachel Flynn to receive 6-period class compensation prorated to $4,000 per the HEA negotiated contract. Resolution to approve Rachel Flynn to provide homebound instruction. Resolution to approve Zhang Wu Xio to provide one-on-one support for a student. Resolution to approve teachers for 6-period class compensation. Resolution to for Madison Brzezowski to provide compensatory education for students. Resolution to approve employees' compensation for attending kindergarten orientation at Tatum Elementary. Resolution to approve compensation for employees to prepare their classrooms, which were closed due to flooding. Resolution to approve teachers to attend APSI. Resolution to approve Elizabeth City State University student to be placed for field experience. Approval to submit to the Executive County Superintendent merit goals for our CSA, quantitative goals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Motion? Steph and Mike? Discussion? Lefty's getting a shadow, that's fun.
Is it lefty?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's right, he is, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's always fun because you think about your job differently when you're like teaching someone else to do it and you're like, wait a second, yeah. The things that you
I do
you
this
take
this
for
way
granted, you're like,
because-
why do I
Yeah.
do it this way? I don't know. All right, can you call roll?
Ms. Hollingworth,
Yes.
Mr. Knuckles,
Yes.
Mr. Ritter,
Yes.
Mrs. Sadiq,
Yes.
Vice President Hogertle,
Yes.
Ms. Benecki,
Yes.
Mr. Essenplayer,
Yes.
President Crooked.
Yes, recuse on E. Okay, business and finance recommendations. Accept the donation for the HMHS volleyball boosters. Approval of the Southern New Jersey Perinatal Cooperative for nursing services. Approval of the change order to number 2 to increase Mary's construction and rentals for stormwater upgrades. Payment of bills, budget transfers, board secretary's report, cash summary report. Motion?
Sure.
Sorry, I was only looking at Zach and Meg, I'm not sure. Thank you to the HMHS volleyball boosters for their donation. All right,
All right. Mr. Knuckles.
Yes.
Mr. Ritter.
Yes.
Mrs. Siddiq.
Yes.
Vice President Hobertle.
Yes.
Ms. Benecki.
Yes.
Mr. Essenpler.
Yes.
Ms. Hollingworth.
Yes.
President Griffith.
yes. Approval of the minutes, joint meeting with the borough, August 12th, regular meeting, August 21st, exec session, August 21st. Motion? Right?
A second.
Oh, you should look our way.
Yeah, I was like, it's gotta be you two.
Good thing I looked up.
I was waiting, I was waiting for the stare.
I felt it.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Actually, I have one quick question, and forgive me if I should know this. The joint meeting with the borough, which we all thought was pretty great, we landed in a good spot with a commitment by both parties to keep talking. Do we have like dates for?
I have to say, oh,
Okay,
I did.
yeah, because that was awesome, and it was a month and a half
So,
ago,
yes,
so I was just curious.
And
So for me,
Work to
items
be
for
done.
future consideration.
I'll reach out to Dave and Sharon.
They might need a gentle nudge,
Good.
because
Yeah,
there's
that's-
probably a lot to talk about, so, okay, thank you.
Yeah, one more meeting's probably not getting us there.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I hadn't missed it, but yeah, I
I mean,
anticipate
I'll
that.
reach out tomorrow.
Thanks, John.
Okay,
Mr. Ritter.
Yes.
Mrs. Siddiq.
Yes to A, abstain on B and C.
Vice President Hobertle.
Yes.
Ms. Benecki.
Abstain as to all.
Mr. Essenpler.
Yes.
Ms. Hollingworth.
Yes,
Mr. Knuckles.
Abstain to all.
President Griffith.
yes. Okay, items for future consideration?
NutriServe has cookies for all the board members over there, so.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's nice.
Who-
love those guys.
NutriServe.
NutriServe.
Oh.
Shame that Justice.
Bribery.
To give to her.
Oh, that's what I meant. Thank you.
Elena can take that.
Yeah, Marlene gets
That's
justice.
right, Marlene. Come on in.
Okay, all right, motion to adjourn? All right, Meg and Mike?
Yes.